Very good evening. You're watching Primetime News live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Rahna Farooq. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Wild elephant attack claims the lives of 2 children in Mahayanganaya. Speaker names Parliamentary Select Committee. UPFA MPs boycott vote in opposition of committee composition. UNP says they have the majority with 121 votes in Parliament. UPFA also claim they have a majority. Lakshman Yapa proposes for election under caretaker government. Who protected the thieves expecting? A revelation by Anurakumara Disanayake.
President Maithripala Sirisena spoke on the current political situation in the country and responded to accusations levelled at him today. The President was speaking at the Presidential Rajya Jayanti Awards ceremony organised by the National Gem and Jewellery Authority.
On the 8th of January 2015, the people of this country elected me as the President. As per the problems which prevailed at the time, I opted for the correct path at that time. The fact that the decisions I made then are correct is still valid today, and it will be valid tomorrow too. Today in Parliament, throughout the entire day, I witnessed UNP members isolating themselves and playing alone on their own field. Through their speeches, I witnessed how they have turned me into their plaything when I am not in Parliament. A book that was authored by my daughter, titled Janadipati Tatta, was the subject of much discussion in Parliament today. I tell all of them not to be too hasty. In January, I will publish a book titled The Unsuccessful Political Journey with Ranil. I ask them to read that book too in January. Throughout this time, I have seen the extent to which I have been criticized. I wish to say to all these people very clearly that when it comes to politics, I strive to bring about a better tomorrow for the motherland. I believe that those who see me as a bad person today will see me as a good person tomorrow or in the future. I have only 2 things to lose in this fight. I have happily made up my mind to lose both these things. One of those things that I am prepared to lose is my position, the position of President. What else do I have to lose? The other thing I can lose is my life. I might lose one of those things, or I might lose both of them. I know that I will not be alone in this fight. I am not keeping faith with politicians. I am keeping my faith with the general public of this country who have the innocent prayer for a better tomorrow for this country. I challenge all the senior politicians in the country to join me in a debate, and I am prepared to explain who is right and who is wrong. This is for the country. I believe that those with dirty hands will not be a challenge for people with clean hands. I am not a person who came for power. I am a person who came to leave power behind. I am not a person who is looking to stay. I am a person who will do what needs to be done in the time that I am here and then happily depart.
The Committee of Selection in Parliament, comprising the members nominated by the Speaker, was adopted today with 121 votes cast in favour and 0 votes against. All members claiming to be the ruling party had left the chamber prior to the vote in opposition to the nominations made by the Speaker.
Following the proposal made last week to appoint a committee of selection in Parliament, the UPFA, claiming to be the ruling party, had nominated 7 persons. 5 nominations were made from the United National Front and 2 from the Janata Vimukti Peramuna. The committee of selection is made up of 13 members, including the Speaker. The political parties were unable to reach a consensus at the party leaders' meeting held prior to the sitting in Parliament today on the constitution of the committee of selection. Since there was no agreement at the party leaders' meeting, under the powers vested in me by Standing Orders 136 and 143, the following members are nominated for the Committee on Selection. From the United People's Freedom Alliance: Honourable Dinesh Gunawardena, Honourable S.B. Disanayake, Honourable Nimal Siripala de Silva, Honourable Mahinda Samarasinghe and Honourable Vimal Veeravansa. From the United National Party: Honourable Lakshman Kiruyalla, Honourable Rauf Hakim, Honourable Rishad Badiuddin, Honourable Manu Ganesan and Honourable Patali Champika Ranavaka. From the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi: Honourable Mave Senadiraja, and from the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, Honourable Vijita Herath.
Garu Vijita Herath Mettuma.
You have made a wrong decision. I wish to tell you, the Honourable Speaker, that we do not accept the proclamation that there is no government. We are functioning as a government. Thereby, the Speaker and the Secretary General have a responsibility to act in line with the Constitution. We reject the attempt that you are making to act as an unconstitutional speaker and harm the government that is acting constitutionally. As such, it is evident that the speaker is conducting a UNP parliamentary sitting. You are acting as a speaker who is partisan to the UNP and is kicking aside the parliamentary tradition.
Order, please.
You have made a statement that there is no Prime Minister and no leader of the House in this Parliament. I wish to say to the proposed government, show us that you have a majority in Parliament and we are prepared to give you everything.
While we completely reject the notion that a no-confidence motion was adopted on the 14th, we ask that you accept the government led by Mahinda Rajapaksa as a legitimate government. The legislator cannot challenge the constitutional powers of the president.
When the president appoints the Prime Minister by moonlight and they tell each other that they are the government, that is called the law of jungle. If there is some problem regarding the Committee on Selection, then it is the Parliament that has the right to resolve it. Thereby I request that you give us a vote by name on the Committee of Selection. There are allegations that you are acting in violation of the Constitution and in a partisan manner. When there are such allegations, Parliament is empowered even to take action on the Speaker. So I call on the accusers to bring a no-confidence motion against the Speaker and we can scrutinize his action.
That is a UNP opposition whip Anura Kumara Dissanayake. A no-confidence motion has not been adopted in Parliament. A no-confidence motion cannot be adopted by a voice vote. There is a procedure to adopt such a motion and that procedure has not been followed. This Parliament is now full of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's hired henchmen. If you will not accept the Prime Minister, Leader of the House and the Cabinet of Ministers, we will not accept you as the Speaker. We will leave Parliament.
Subsequently, all members of the ruling party left the sitting.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි ඔබතුමා විසින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු ලයිස්තුව මේ ස්ථාවර නියෝගයට සම්පූර්ණ එකඟයි ඔබතුමා නිවැරදි අපි ඔබතුමන් ඉල්ලා හිටිනවා ඡන්දයකට දාන්න කියලා by name නමින් ඡන්දයක් ගන්න
බෙල්ල ගන්න
An electronic vote was held today to approve the nominees for the Committee on Selection and the additional nominees proposed today. I wish to inform that 121 votes have been cast in favour.
එකක් ලැබී ඇති බව දැනුවත් කිරීමට
The Speaker then informed the House that Parliament would reconvene at 1 p.m. on the 27th of this month and at 10:30 a.m. on the 29th.
The JVP proposed the adjournment motion debate in Parliament today, which focused on the current political crisis.
They wish to prevent the official announcement of the result of the vote in Parliament and therefore they continue to act in a disruptive manner to sabotage Parliament. Decisions were made by the Parliament on the 14th, 15th and 16th. Parliament is not beholden to the executive. Parliament is not under the President. The President is beholden to the Constitution. Can they continue to function with such a government like Alibaba and the 40 thieves? There has been no government for 10 days now. We are not seeking to protect the UNP. We must not allow them to use the logo of democracy to cover up all the stains and dirt accumulated over the past 3 years. If you ask their backbenchers, they would have come forward to say in keeping with their conscience that this is what the people of Polonnaruwa are saying or this is what the people of Hambantota are saying. Instead, they tried to run the country with the brains from Kolupitia. These brains have failed and that failure is what laid the ground for this coup. Normally, when a mango ripens on a tree, the squirrels will eat it. They have the thieves and the goods as well, but they didn't hear the cases. Instead, they went around making deals. What did Sagala Ratnayaka do? He protected the Nilames. Gamani Sinarat was hidden away at their homes. This is how they protected the fraudsters. The backbenchers should be aware of this. They were not running a government. Once this coup is defeated, the JVP will put forward a motion for the dissolution of Parliament. First, let us defeat this coup. There were mistakes made by our government. If our leaders had listened to what the members were saying and understood the reality, it would have been very different. We can change. We have time. We must strengthen the party supporters. We need to listen to what the party supporters are saying. We must understand the tears and the sorrows of our party supporters. I wish to say now that our leaders must realize that our government and our party can be protected only if our party supporters are protected. We are hurt because when we said this in the past, they were not prepared to listen. When they see us, they pick up the stack of files and run away. Now at least they come close and speak to us and smile. People like us have not come into politics to earn or to steal. I can say that I can leave behind this seat in Parliament for the Gampaha district, knowing that I spoke in keeping with my conscience.
මේ මන්ත්‍රීකම ගම්පහ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයට දීලා යන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක කියමින්
ඔය මහලේ කුටු වලට තරම් දවසකට ඔය දැන් ඔය පාර්ලිමේන්තුව දවසකට ලක්ෂ 256 කාපාසනය කරනවා පුළුවන් ඔය මහයුන් කියන එක දවසක් පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කියන බයින නටන සල්ලි ටික අරගෙන මේ අයින් කරන්නේ වැඩ ගන්න කියන්නේ ඔච්චර ප්‍රශ්නේ වන්නේ එක්ක සල්ලි නැහැ එක්ක නිලධාරීන් නැහැ දවස් ගානේ මිනිස්සු
While the 25 million rupee daily political circus in Parliament continues across the country, people continue to face severe hardships which barely get a mention in the political discourse. In this News First report, we highlighted the danger faced by the villagers of Mapakada, and the village was under the constant threat of wild elephants. These reporters and the pleas of villagers fell on deaf ears, and 2 children paid with their lives last night.
This home belongs to a poverty-stricken farming family of 6 living in the village of Rohana in Mapakada, Mahiyangana. As they had exams the next day, the 4 children had gone to bed early.
හරියට 10:20 දොරට දරස් ගාලා සද්දයක් ආවා. නෑ අලියා හොඬවලේ දාලා මෙහෙම කරකනවා. අපේ මහතා අබ්බගාත මිනිස්සෙක්. ඊට පස්සේ කිව්වා මේ හැරිලා ආවා මෙහෙට අලියා. ඒ විල ඩස් ගාලා විද්දා.
This mother had no option but to run as fast as she could with her children in her arms. But sadly, she wasn't able to get her children to safety.
ඊට පස්සේ 4 දෙනා හැරගෙන මිඳුලට දිව්වා. දුවගෙනකොට තම මාමාගේ මේ දකුණු අතට එක පොඩි දුවයි නංගිගේ දුව මේ වම් අතටයි ආවේ. එක ළමයෙක්ව විසි වුණා උදරලා ගත්තා වගේ මාව රෝල් කරලා ගුලි කරලා පිටියට හේතු කරලා එතන ගිහලා ඉරුඟු වත්තකට තමයි ගහලා මරලා දාලා තිබ්බේ. ඔක්කොම හිතලා තියෙනවා පොහොර මල්ලා කියලා බලනකොට මගේ කෙල්ල මම මෙයා දෙකෙන් දීලා ඉන්නේ මහතුරු ඉක්මනට විසඳුමක් කරලා දෙන්න මට ඉක්මනට පිළිවෙලක් ඕනේ. නැත්නම් ඔයාලම වස බෝතලයක් දෙන්න අපි බීලා මැරෙයි.
The 2 little girls who lost their lives last night are Rasiat, aged 11, and Fatima Riskat, aged 8. 32 homes have been damaged or destroyed in this village alone since the 7th of this month. The people of the village demonstrated today at the 20th mile post, obstructing the Mahiyangana Badulla main road. The protesters said that although various promises were given to them in the past, none have been fulfilled, and the result of these broken promises was the loss of 2 innocent young lives.
My father was killed in a wild elephant attack 4 years ago. We were not given a solution. Now we don't even know who the Minister of Wildlife is. The people are helpless.
The children must be sent to school by 6:45 in the morning. We need a solution for this. How can we send our children at this time? There are elephants even in the garden.
Wildlife officers who arrived at the scene of the protest promised to relocate the elephant, suspected to be responsible for the deaths.
We were screaming and we lit firecrackers. But what we should have done is light them inside the rear ends of our MPs. If not, it does not seem like they would hear us. When the people block the roads and demonstrate, then the DG says they have received approval. They are encouraging the people to block the roads and take the law into their hands. It is only then that their eyes are opened up.
Despite countless media reports and protests by the people, those in authority don't seem to have the intent, competence, or ability to respond to the needs of the people. Do innocent children have to lose their lives for the authorities to take action? While the entire nation is held at ransom until a power struggle in Parliament is resolved, what happens to the hapless people of this nation who struggle with untold difficulties every day? Who will struggle for them?
What are political representatives doing for the innocent victims of wild elephants? The issue was raised today by 2 politicians.
They fight when the parliament is convened. They waste 200 lakhs per day. The government spends 25 lakhs for a medical student at the medical faculty. Parliamentarians are wasting money which can cover 8 medical students each day. The country is deteriorating since the 26th of October and everyone is giving attention to the parliament drama instead of the real issues of the country. Now let's think that this Supreme Court decision will come and that elections will be held soon. But what about the parliament being dissolved? How much money did they waste all this time? The money that they waste belongs to the public. There is no good that has happened to the public through these power struggles.
Think. Never vote them into parliament again. Our future and our children's future depends on it.
A proposal was made to form a caretaker government and hold an election.
Bringing all the parties together and form a caretaker government. The election will stabilize the country again. We have to hold elections under our purview. But if one thinks there is not enough confidence, let's go in for an election with the power of the government. If that is not an option, let's hold an election under a caretaker government. We are making a fair request here. It can either be the Tamil political parties or the Muslim political parties, the United National Party or our party. We can bring all these parties together and hold an election. Mahinda Rajapaksa is not afraid of an election. The Prime Minister's position was offered to him, so he has no issues about this. If the Parliament is in an unstable position, let's form a caretaker government and give public the authority. No, we don't have any conditions. If they are suggesting that we appoint a retired judge or an individual recognized by the people of this country to a position and form a government, we are ready to do that as well. We don't have a problem with that, because Mahinda Rajapaksa is ready to make a decision and run for an election, if that is what is expected.
Issuing a communique on the 19th of this month, former MP Milinda Moragada also suggested that one way out of this is to hold an early parliamentary election under the supervision of a small all-party caretaker government led by a neutral Prime Minister selected from among existing parliamentary members who inspires the confidence of all parties.
Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajith Premadasa, convened a media briefing at the parliamentary complex today.
There was drama in this illegal government. You witnessed one such incident today as well. They presented some excuses and left the chambers as they did not have enough MPs to vote for them. It will prove something, and that is that the government which was sworn in on the 26th does not possess the legal authority to govern the country. They engaged in an illegal and traitorous program. The time has come to end this traitorous act, respect democracy and go home respectfully. If they are engaging in a dictatorship, there will not be democracy in this country. The problem here is they appointed a so-called government on the 26th. They also claim that they appointed a cabinet minister headed by a prime minister. We have to first provide the majority in parliament, and that has been proven several times before. We will present the numbers when needed. We should definitely hold an election, but we do not want to go for an unconstitutional election in an environment where a crisis is created. Journalists also raised questions about the MPs who left the parliamentary complex before the vote.
So, can they achieve democracy by just simply walking out when a democratic process is going on?
The simple fact is, they did not have the numbers to prove their majority. This is an illegal, unconstitutional government that is in place right now. All Sri Lankans, irrespective of their political inclinations and political backgrounds, they all have to get together to ensure that democracy prevails. Because democracy is the order of the day. It is the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. It is not the autocratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. And just look at the repercussions, the consequences of a prevalent dictatorship. One full tranche has been completely stopped by the International Monetary Fund, pending a return to democracy in our country. Various development assistance programs, for example, the support that we were supposed to receive from the Millennium Challenge account and from Japan for the new rail link all have been stalled. The GSP program. So through all these activities, who will benefit and who will face the hardships? The rulers will benefit. But how about the people of Sri Lanka? The common man and woman, the so-called silent majority of our country. They will suffer.
UPFA members convened a media briefing at the Parliament complex today.
A vote has never been held for a parliamentary select committee. The Speaker did not respect the standing orders or the Constitution today. We suggest the Speaker to convene the Parliament on the 7th in the morning. Even the Speaker says that this has turned into a complete mess, that he cannot handle anyone. He also said that if someone gives a resignation letter, he would leave that position. He must accept the gazettes of the appointment of Mahinda Rajapaksa as Prime Minister and other ministerial appointments. That is how he reserved seats at the Parliament. Then he accepted the government. He accepted the letter of the House. He accepted the organizers of our government. What we say is that he should maintain these policies. If he says that there is no accepted government, how can he bring up the no confidence motion? There must be a neck to wear a necklace. You cannot wear a necklace without a neck. How many votes have been cast for Ranil Wickremesinghe to be Prime Minister? It is 121 minus 21. When you remove the 6 in the JVP and the 15 in the TNA, Ranil Wickremesinghe has only 103. I beg your pardon, it is 100. When you subtract 121 from 225, it is 104. Of the 104, Karu Jayasuriya is up there, so the number is 103. No, we boycotted today in opposition to the Speaker's actions. There is a time for the 27th, so we shall see at that time. That is a personal question. We do not know in what context he said that. We must look into it, but it is not our stance. We are bound to the decision that will be made by the Supreme Court.
Despite the statement made by Nimal Siripala de Silva, youth members of the UPFA who convened a media briefing at the Prime Minister's office had this to say.
We decided as a team not to participate in parliamentary sessions as the Speaker continues to act in this way. We are waiting for the decision of the court on the 7th.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna convened a media briefing today.
The government has failed and they have already proved that they do not have the majority in Parliament. But they keep calling this their government. We would like to ask them to show us the rest of their team. There were only 87 MPs present in Parliament today. There must be 102 MPs when the rest have left. We say that they do not have 102 MPs. They do not even deserve 5 MPs. They left the Parliament because they knew the exact number will be revealed. It was approved in Parliament and no one opposed it. Even on the 14th and the 16th, we approved the no confidence motion in the right manner. It was done according to the standing orders and it was constitutional. We are not going to wash dishes of the Rajapaksa's manner or Wickremesinghe's manner. We have only one request from President Maithripala Sirisena. Everyone has their own faults and weaknesses. All of us can have difficulties in accepting defeat and admitting mistakes. But if the President has some self-respect and if he still wants the people of this country to recognize him as the President, he will have to take a step back. He should admit his mistake and take steps to rectify it.
These are the political, economical and social problems in the country. Divide the classroom into two and hold a debate. This group to my right will speak for the topic and the group to my left will oppose the topic. Now, it is better if you do it the way they do it in the parliament, like the ruling party and the opposition. Use that.
Thank you. We hope to take this country forward for the mid-term projects in the country. The people of this country are suffering.
stop! I did not ask you to debate like how they would in parliament to start a fight. It was to build this country.
Think. Never vote them into parliament again. Our future and our children's future depends on it.
And in more local news, the Sri Lankan rupee further depreciated to a new record low today. The selling price now stands at 180.66.
The US dollar increased 0.46% to rupees 180 and 66 cents today, an all-time low from 178 rupees and 50 cents in the previous trading session. Moody's downgrade of the country's credit rating in the wake of the political crisis is said to have caused more investors to dump rupee-denominated assets. Sri Lanka has been witnessing a steady decline in the rupee versus the US dollar since mid-September, where on the 17th of September the rupee hit a then record low to stand at $1 equaling 164.37 rupees. The rupee then continued to depreciate at an increasing rate to surpass 170 rupees by 15th October 2018 to stand at $1 equaling 171.6 rupees. Definitive econ data showed the rupee has fallen 16.8% so far this year.
Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
I went a long way when it comes to sports administration. The sportsmen also have a long way to go. The Platinum Award adds value to it. I wish them all the very best. I am GLS Pereira, Vice President of the Sri Lanka Athletic Association.
Sports First, Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
We leave you tonight with the statement made by President Maithripala Sirisena about the current political situation in the country and the response he made to accusations levelled at him today. And that's the wrap for Primetime News. For the News First team, I'm Rahna Farooq. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant night.
On the 8th of January 2015, the people of this country elected me as the president. As per the problems which prevailed at the time, I opted for the correct path at that time. The fact that the decisions I made then are correct is still valid today, and it will be valid tomorrow too. Today in Parliament, throughout the entire day, I witnessed UNP members isolating themselves and playing alone on their own field. Through their speeches, I witnessed how they have turned me into their plaything when I am not in Parliament. A book that was authored by my daughter, titled Janadipati Tatta, was the subject of much discussion in Parliament today. I tell all of them not to be too hasty. In January, I will publish a book titled The Unsuccessful Political Journey with Ranil. I ask them to read that book too in January. Throughout this time, I have seen the extent to which I have been criticized. I wish to say to all these people very clearly that when it comes to politics, I strive to bring about a better tomorrow for the motherland. I believe that those who see me as a bad person today will see me as a good person tomorrow or in the future. I have only two things to lose in this fight. I have happily made up my mind to lose both these things. One of those things that I am prepared to lose is my position, the position of president. What else do I have to lose? The other thing I can lose is my life. I might lose one of those things, or I might lose both of them. I know that I will not be alone in this fight. I am not keeping faith with politicians. I am keeping my faith with the general public of this country who have the innocent prayer for a better tomorrow for this country. I challenge all the senior politicians in the country to join me in a debate, and I am prepared to explain who is right and who is wrong. This is for the country. I believe that those with dirty hands will not be a challenge for people with clean hands. I am not a person who came for power. I am a person who came to leave power behind. I am not a person who is looking to stay. I am a person who will do what needs to be done in the time that I am here and then happily depart.